guys, today we are talking about goal setting, and I have to tell you, to become a millionaire, one of the most important things is goal setting. And aside from reading, learning, and education, I have to say the next most important thing is having direction, right? Because you can be a hard worker, but without having direction, you may not get to where you want to go efficiently, and you may be exhausting resources and time that is unnecessary in order to get you where you want to be. So if you're ready to talk about goal setting, let's get into it. Hey guys, my name's Diem and welcome back to Lifestyle Leaps. This is where we talk about financial freedom and early retirement. And I have to say, besides reading a shit ton of books when I was trying to understand how to build financial freedom, coming from nothing, having lived on Section 8, having filed for bankruptcy, having been born in a house that was really just a hut with no electricity and no plumbing, I realized that I have a vision of life that I want for myself. And in order to achieve that, I have to set certain goals and benchmarkers to get me closer and closer and closer. And so that's why it's so important to set goals. Now, you don't have to set goals at the beginning of the year. Don't let it discourage you if you are watching this video at a different time. However, it is important to set goals at the beginning of the year. So I would recommend you set your annual goals, and if you're starting not at the beginning of the year, you work from now until the end of that year, and then at the beginning of the next year, let's start over and do a whole new set of goals for that coming year. But it's never too late to start, so don't be discouraged about that. We set our annual goals. From those annual goals, we look at how do we break that down into a quarterly basis, because you can't get everything done in a month. We start assigning those big annual goals into quarterly tasks, and I generally leave it at that, because at the beginning of each month, as I come into that month, is when I start looking at, okay, what are my goals for this quarter? How am I breaking it down for this month's tasks and then the weekly tasks that are to come? Before you can actually sit down and write your annual goals specifically, you want to actually do a general vision of what you want your life to look like. I recommend doing a vision for the next 5 or 10 years and then doing a vision for this upcoming year. You aren't going to necessarily be able to accomplish everything that you want in this upcoming year, but what you can do to get closer to your general life vision is to designate what that looks like and then work your way towards that. For example, maybe in my general life vision, I own multiple real estate properties that generate $30,000 in net income per month. I have businesses that help educate students of mine so that I am able to further my reach and influence to help others build financial freedom and wealth for themselves. I also have continued to run my house cleaning referral agencies, helping moms get connected to find work or to find relief and be present in my community. Maybe those are my professional visions. And then my personal vision, I live in a house that has a pool, that has a circular driveway. Me and my husband get along so good. We learned how to communicate effectively over the years. We cherish and admire each other for each of our differences. We have 2 dogs. They do not shed. I'm the best auntie in the world. I mean, I can list on and on, right? The visions that I have in general. But then I'm going to break it down to this year. So this year, I see myself acquiring 1 new apartment building between 6 and 10 to 12 units. I see myself advancing in my savings goals to make sure that I allocate more money towards savings and be more personally accountable for discretionary spending. And I'll specify what that looks like, how much I'm going to save, how much I'm going to add in by the end of the year into that savings account. I have goals that perhaps I may or may not move my house this year. So if I don't move, what am I going to do instead? I'm going to refurnish my home. And then I'm going to do 2 communications courses with my partner so that we can understand each other more effectively. So these are now my annual goals. I have more, of course, and that was quite broad, but when I write it down, I'm definitely specifying when, where, who, how much, all of those things, right? And then from there, I break them down into quarterly goals. Now, this happens to me every year where I write down my annual goals and then I realize, oh my gosh, I'm putting them into the quarters and everything seems to be taking place first and second quarter. And I almost have nothing left to put into quarter 3 and quarter 4. Happens to me every year. You might not have the same problem, but I get really excited and anxious. I'm like, I can accomplish this. For me, that's okay, because as the quarters roll on, I may have to shift and move things on into later in the year. Or I might add new things to support my goals that I hadn't thought of that were needed before at the time of writing the goals. One other factor that I really love to consider is what I call troubleshooting. So troubleshooting for me when it comes to goal setting is where I sit in the seat that I'm in today and I think about what isn't working in my life right now. What are the things that are happening that I don't like or that isn't getting me closer to my life vision, in fact, perhaps getting me further. And I'll make a list of all the things that aren't working for me. For example, I say, okay, starting this social media business with YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, I haven't systematized everything yet, so I have found myself allocating way too much time and energy into it. That's taking away from my value of not working a full work week. Like, I value condensing my work week down to just a few hours so that I can live my best life. So that's not meeting my value. So then my solution will be, okay, I need to have a stronger schedule and commitment to that schedule for content creation. So I'm now going to be drafting all of my content on a Monday, shooting all of my content on a Tuesday, and also meeting with my social media manager on Tuesdays so that we can discuss how we're going to distribute that content for the rest of the week, right? So instead of me being available and on 7 days a week for questions and responding to information or sending videos to my editor or getting my thumbnails created, I realize I can't do that. That does not meet my goal, and I'm going to troubleshoot that by having a clear and defined schedule. So you would just create a list of all of the items that you want to troubleshoot and then create a list of potential solutions and ensure that those solutions appear on your annual goals list or in your quarterly goals list so that you are actively removing roadblocks for yourself. One of my favorite parts about creating goals every year is creating a vision board. I'm gonna actually show you my vision board right here, right now. So this is what it looks like, and it's just images depicting the idea of what you want your year to look like. And I put this in between my annual goal and my quarterly goal. So when I swipe, I use a digital planner. So when I swipe between my annual goals and my quarterly goals, I'm always passing my vision board. So I see this very often whenever I sit down and get refocused about what I want to do. And so looking at this re-inspires me very quickly, visually, to remember the direction that I want to take this year and what this year is supposed to look like and feel like for me. And that's been really great. At the end of the year, I reflect back on the annual goals and the vision board and see what I've accomplished. And I would say that I generally accomplish about 75% or more of my goals. I say 75 pretty loosely. Generally, it's going to be more like 80 to 85%. To some people, that doesn't sound very good, but to me, when the goals that I set are so big, these big projects, to me, like C's and B's get degrees, yo. You know, that's kind of my philosophy through college too, honestly. Like, I was capable of getting A's, but never wanted to take the time to get A's because I was like ready to get out of college and start making money. But anyway, that's besides the point. So for me, 75, 80, 85% achieving my goals, if they are high level goals, is pretty good to me. There also have been some years where I'm like at 90%. I'm never quite at 100% because some of my goals are outside of the business realm. I feel like I have more control in the business realm versus like my personal goals, where weight loss has been a challenge for me always. I shouldn't say that, right? Because I should think positive, but always except for this year and going forward. But anyway, so, you know, reach for the stars, but if you, what do they say? Shoot for the stars, moon, but if you reach the stars, it's all good, or something. You know what I'm talking about. I want to give you a quick tip about goal setting. So I use an app called Todoist, and it manages all of my to-do items. If I think of something, I pop it right into the app, and then I assign dates later, or categories later. But one of the things that it can do is create repeat tasks. You can also do this on Google Calendar or set an alarm for routine tasks. But one of the routine tasks that I have is correlated to my goals. So every week I have a task to review previous week and set new goals for the following week. And then every month I have a routine task that says review previous month and set new goals for the next month and again for the quarter. So it's super easy from week to week to forget to go back and look at what did I do last week? Did I accomplish the things that I had set out to do? And then refocus for the upcoming week. So to avoid forgetting, I actually create an automatic reminder every single week, month, and quarter to make sure I do that. Anyways, you guys, I hope that you have found that helpful, and I am so excited for you for goal setting to get you closer. Check out these other videos if you're interested in learning more about how to become financially free and retire early. And until next week, I hope you have a good one. Bye now.